Welcome to Navigation and Discovery with Cameron Singh, where we bring people from all different walks of life on this podcast to help them share their stories, and with the hopes that those listening, you can take some lessons learned and some nuggets and apply it to your life wherever you're at in your life journey. And so on today's episode, we have Mr. Kenyatta Thomas from Antigua and Barbuda, a very good friend of mine. He also endorsed my latest book, Navigation and Discovery. So make sure you get your copy at CameronSinghBook.com. To tell you a little bit about Kenyatta Thomas, Kenyatta has had the opportunity to work in several industries and live in countries across the globe. So he's had the opportunity to experience different cultures through his different ventures, different experiences, living across the globe. Really hope that you really enjoy the insights that Kenyatta has to offer. So hope you enjoy this podcast. Kenyatta, thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, for sure. So Kenyatta Thomas resides in Antigua and Barbuda. And Kenyatta, can you tell us a little bit about what is it that you do today?
I'm presently a general manager for a general aviation company, a company. I manage two locations at present, Antigua and Barbuda and St. Kitts and Nevis. Um, Daily, I just ensure that, all the schools keep turning, everyone does what they're supposed to do, and we keep our customers happy, consistently happy on a daily basis. And that's basically my job to ensure that, all the departments work together um, in tandem to ensure that our customers are happy and they get the value and service that they're paying for. This is a very um, very expensive business to be in, and people want to get value and quality for their money, and that's what we do. That's what I do, pretty much.
Yeah, so you've been in the aviation industry now for a couple of years now. And so,
Yeah, just about almost 4 years.
oh, 4 years. Oh, man,
Yes,
time flies. But
yes.
before that, I think you have a real awesome journey to kind of take us through, because you've had a lot of different experiences, had the opportunity to live in various parts of the world. So take us along your journey wherever you want to. How far back? I know. What are you, close
Wow.
to 50 now? So take
just, just about.
so take
So
take us along your journey. Start wherever you want, and then bring it back all the way to the
you
aviation.
know, it's crazy because before I got into hospitality, I really wanted to get into biochemistry when I was finished from high school, and I took a job at Sandals Resorts International as a waiter when I was 17, just about to be 18. Just in hopes of making some extra money to finance my college education, and it ended up being my life. I realized that's what I wanted to do. Now looking back, after um, almost just a little over 20 years, I couldn't see myself, in a lab doing no. I prefer being in and around people, interacting with people on a daily basis. So my journey started out when I was 17, started at Sandals. Um, from Sandals, I ended up working on Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines. Um, I worked on Silver Seas cruise lines also. I got a bit tired of that because being at sea for months at a time, sometimes it gets a bit. It's fun, it's really fun. But after a while, it gets a bit depressing. You miss home, so I parked that for a while, and I ended up going back to Sandals as a manager, and I was there for quite some time, and then I got the opportunity to go to Grenada to work in Grenada at this Hotel La Faible in Grenada, and it was one of the best experiences I've ever had. Cruise ship. It's working on a cruise ship was very nice in the sense that I really got to see a lot of places and really experience different people and different cultures. But at the same time, it was short lived. You know, we would pop into, let's say we were in Mallorca, or we were in Barcelona. It was only for a couple hours at a time. You know, it was very seldom that we stayed anywhere for more than 2 days. I think the longest I stayed anywhere for more than 2 days was in Russia, and we stayed there for about 3 days. So generally, you get a little snippet, so to speak, of the cultures and the people and the food and the art, and that's my biggest takeaway from the cruise ship. But going back to my time in Grenada, I actually lived in Grenada for almost 2 years, and it really opened my eyes as to, you know, even though I'm Caribbean and it's just a couple islands down, I still didn't know anything about Grenada. You know, but it really, that opportunity really opened my eyes, opened my thinking, opened my appreciation for home a lot more. So I would say I would say that from, you know, from all the journeys, from everything that I've done, everywhere that I've been, and I've been everywhere. The only place I haven't been is Antarctica. I've been everywhere, and I could say the biggest lesson that I've learned, my the biggest takeaway that I've gotten from that is appreciation of home. And you know, as the saying goes, you know, there's no place like home. So yeah, journey has been good, experience has been good. The people that I've met have been amazing. It's definitely molded me to be the person that I am today. When the thing is, when you're able to see and experience different cultures and people through art, music, food, you get a better appreciation for human beings. You get an appreciation for self. And you know, for me there was nothing better than that.
Mm. And then, Kenyatta, what was it in you that made you want to venture out outside of Antigua and start that journey in living in different parts of the globe?
Well, you know, I've always been a bit of a risk taker, so to speak. I always believe in telling the story for myself rather than having the story be told to me. And there's no better teacher, no better experience in life than traveling. So that was my thing. I mean, it was a risk at times. Some of the times, you know, some of the times that I ventured out, it was risky, but I have zero regrets because, as I said, for me, there's no better teacher in life than traveling, and that was the biggest part of it. I always enjoy traveling. It's something that I always, especially working on the cruise ships, is something that I always wanted to do since I got into the hospitality industry. And when I got the opportunities, I never looked back. And as I said, you know, I've been everywhere um, from Holland to the Panama Canal to the Suez Canal. I mean, some of the stories that I have. I mean, if someone was sitting and telling me some of these stories, I wouldn't believe. But you know, the experience is real, and that was all because of travel and not being afraid to take that chance when the opportunity comes.
Yeah, that's so true, Kenyatta. I can definitely attest to that. Traveling in different countries, especially when I lived.
Well, I'm sure you
Yeah.
could you have your stories from your time venturing out of your little shell, so to speak, and you know, venturing out of the U.S. and coming to the islands
Hmm.
and really seeing, you know, what life is all about in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's true. It really opens your eyes when you experience a different culture and actually live in it rather than just visiting.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep,
that
definitely,
that's
definitely.
two different things. Kenyatta, so what have you learned about yourself experiencing these different cultures? I mean, you said you gained a great appreciation of home, but what have you learned about yourself?
About me, that. anything I want to do, I could do it. I know it sounds a bit cliche, but at the same time, I mean, I can only speak from my experiences. And there's nothing that I've ever set my mind to that I haven't accomplished. It might have taken me a day, might have taken me a month, might have taken me a year. Some things I'm still working on, but at the same time, I know that once I am consistent and I stay focused on those things, I mean, sky's the limit. So that drive, that drive that a lot of people talk about having, I saw it in myself. You know, one of the biggest things is that we often want things in life, but we sit around waiting for it to come, waiting for it to happen. I believe in going and grabbing. I believe in going and taking what you want. You don't always get it, but at least knowing that you've made the effort makes a big, big difference.
Hmm.
So I could say, you know, that's pretty much what I've learned about myself is my drive, my desire to accomplish the things that I set out to accomplish.
Hmm.
I mean, even coming into my present role in aviation. So when you look at the span of my career, I've been in hotels, I've been on cruise ships, now in aviation. So that's like, you know, three of the biggest facets of hospitality. Um, and I can say that coming into, before I came into aviation, the only thing I knew about aviation really was sitting on a plane, window side, seeing these guys with yellow ones making all kind of crazy signals. Had no idea what they were doing. Frankly, I didn't care. But now, being in the business, I mean, it is amazing. And the things that I've learned in the past 4 years, the things that I've been able to accomplish with this company, the growth that we've been able to have, and not just financially, but on a personal level in terms of really changing the culture and really getting people to understand why is it we do what we do, especially with these so-called Gen Zs. You know, it's very good when you have a good mix of, you know, more older, mature employees and younger employees. It's a challenge, but it really, really sets the stage for you to create something awesome. And that's one thing that I consider, you know, we have done here and continue to do. So,
Well, that's pretty awesome, Kenyatta. I mean, you have had such an amazing, extensive experience in hospitality, working in different countries for different organizations. And I remember when the opportunity came to kind of enter the aviation industry, I'm sure it was definitely you took a leap of faith to go
yeah, big,
into a,
big time.
a different industry. But I think in the end, it definitely aligns with your background and experience. So, why did you take that leap of faith to go from hospitality to aviation?
Well, you know, as I mentioned earlier, you know, it's people. It's all about knowing what people want and giving people what they want. It's all about seeing people get value for their money, their hard-earned money, and it's no different from when I was a waiter to now as a GM. I mean, I'm always gloves off, you know. So for me, you know, one of the biggest thing is really seeing the customer happy at the end of the day, having a situation where they might have a complaint or a situation, as I like to call it, and being able to have that customer walk away feeling satisfied, knowing that you've done everything in your power, not just you. And because when I say you, I mean my team, that we've done everything possibly to ensure that, you know, that customer walks away feeling happy. Um, Things are gonna come up. You're gonna have situations, but it's resolving those situations before they leave your business. And That really ensures that you develop a sense of loyalty and patronage with your customers. So they know that, yes, something might go wrong during their visit, but they know that it'll be taken care of before they leave. And that's something that we pride ourselves on here.
And another question is mentorship. So, and I'm sure you've had and leaned on mentorship throughout your journey so far, and still to this day. How has that impacted you in your journey?
Quite a few. Well, you know what? It's funny that you bring that up because one of my best mentors, I have a few, but one of my best mentors actually did the best thing that ever happened to me. And I know it might sound weird, but he fired me from my first job at Sandals. Not that I wasn't. He knew that I had a lot of potential, but I kept getting in, simple, little stuff that, kept bringing me into the HR office. And the last time he brought me into his office and he's like, you know what, Kenyatta, you have a lot of potential, but I think that you need a change of environment
Mm.
for you to see your full potential. And to this day, every time we speak, I thank him for firing me. It sounds funny, but because of that, that really propelled me to want to go back to school, to want to further my education, to want to get to that level where I have an impact on the decision making process. I have an impact on the change. As they say, be the change you want to see in the world.
Mm.
One way of being that change is being in a position where you're able to make that change. So, with that being said, I have had a few mentors, still a few, there, especially in this new role, managing um, so many individuals from many ethnicities and also, many stages in their life. It can be quite challenging. It can be quite challenging. So there are times when I've had a frustrating week or frustrating month, and I just need to make a phone call just to, hey, such and such is going on. How would you deal with this? Or how, if this ever happened to you, how did you approach a situation? Not that I'm going to approach a situation the exact same way, but at least it gives me an idea of what to do or what not to do, and hopefully how to come out of the situation, in the best way possible.
Mentorship is something that I think needs to be valued and honed in on because, like you said, you get different perspectives and it helps you with probably your day to day decision making sometimes.
Yeah, because what it does also, I mean, everybody has different management leadership styles. And when you get a little bit of advice from here, you get a little bit of advice from the right, from the left. You kind of use that and tie that into your leadership style, and hopefully, most cases, you get the best possible outcome um, from those scenarios. By fusing those different ideas together, and that's what I've done. I think, as you mentioned, it's very important, regardless of where you are in your career, in your life, to have that mentorship. That person that's able to provide that mentorship to you every now and again, and
Hmm.
for you also, when you're in the position to pass that on, or to pass on whatever you've learned to the next person, which is something that I do daily.
And so, Kenyatta, based on your journey thus far, what can people learn from your journey, and what are some life lessons that you have to share based on
um,
your path so far?
Life lessons: never give up. um, Always believe in yourself. It's funny you ask that question because I recently had to do impromptu speak at a local high school for a local tourism board. And in speaking to the students, there's something that really resonated with me that I said to the students that, I came out of that with. And it's actually my new motto for 2023. So I actually had it made, and it says here, as you enter the working world, see yourself as a brand and market yourself as such. Make others believe in you as much as you believe in yourself. And it's simple, but it's so true, because if you don't believe in yourself, how can you expect people to believe in you? And you have to see yourself as a brand. Look at all of the popular brands out there, from the old ones like Coca-Cola and McDonald's to the new ones like, you know, Tesla, Facebook. I mean, it's all about a brand and how they push and carry their company. It's the same way with the person. Once you believe in yourself and you push yourself, thinking that you are a brand, knowing that you are a brand, who's to stop you? Who's gonna tell you you can't? So for me, that's, if there's anything to take away from my journey and the journey that I'm still on, is to believe in you first.
That's a really good saying, Kenyatta. You're gonna have to share that with me later.
Yeah, yeah. I'll think about
You
it.
have to copy that.
But it just came to me. Simple words. It just came to me, and after I sat down and I said, let me scribble this down. This is something that I don't ever want to forget, and I had it um, printed, and it's gonna go up on my wall today.
Mm,
I actually just got it yesterday, so it's going up on the wall today.
nice, nice. That's a really good quote. So one thing I forgot to mention early on in the interview is like how we
Uh-huh.
connected. So tell us your version, I guess.
Oh, what, my version? Do you really want my version? Should I give them my version? So, I first of all, I applied for this position. I was like, okay, you know what? Let me give it a shot. I came into the interview. I walk in, and I saw this guy. I'm like, okay, this guy. He seems pretty young to be the GM. He could be my younger brother by a couple of years. What is he gonna be able to teach me? What is he gonna say to me? And we sat down for about 2 hours. We had a conversation. It was more of a conversation than an interview. Um, we spoke about everything for 2 hours, and from that, the relationship has been started off professional, and I could say now that you're one of my best friends. Um, we've shared a lot, we've experienced a lot. I've learned so much from you. Um, First of all, in the business that I'm in now, to the point where I've had managers and other colleagues that have been in the business years before me that have come seeking my advice, simply from the tools and the resources that you've given me. As I said, the relationship started off very, very, very professional. I hated working with this guy. Just kidding. He was also a great mentor, and it really goes to show that age has nothing to do with mentorship. Also, it's all about the individual. It's all about the personality and character. So I learned so much from you, working and learning the business, and we've grown into great friends. Now, definitely going on 4 years, and I feel like I've known you forever. So I mean, yeah, it was weird from the start, because I was like, what the hell? Who is this kid? No, honestly, I saw it. I'm like, who is this? This is the GM? And so, but I mean, as they say, never judge a book by the cover.
Mm,
That's one thing I can attest to.
hmm. Yeah, when we were working together, Kenyatta, we definitely have totally different styles, and but It was nice because we were never it was never competing, or we never had serious disagreements. Well, we did well in the areas that we thrived in. So you did well in some areas, and I let you do that, and then you let me thrive in the areas that I thrived in. So that's one thing in how we worked together, and also sharing an office with you. That was quite the experience.
Yeah, yeah. I think too. With that being said, it really shows that you don't know everything, and we, as you said, we were able to fuse your management style with my management style, which was very different, to make it really, really awesome. And I mean, not much people can say that. It was definitely, we definitely hit it off from the get go in terms of our management styles.
Yeah, and the big thing that stands out is how we went through the COVID-19 pandemic. That was that's
Sure.
actually it's my time in Antigua is definitely going to be written in a future book, because
Yeah, that's a story in itself.
that's a story in itself. But I think primarily your leadership style, the way I saw you do things, I was very impressed by it, and me pretty much just taking a back seat and just watching you lead the way you lead. It was pretty fascinating to watch, especially being in a new industry too.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, at times, sometimes, as I say, you just have to um, pull the gloves off and just get in and just do what needs to be done.
Hmm.
And that was one of those situations.
Hmm.
And I must say it worked out extremely, extremely well for us.
Well, Kenyatta, well, thank you so much for taking the time and being on this podcast. I know you have busy schedules.
Yes, very busy, very busy. Look at all this paper. Look at all this paperwork that I have to do. I mean,
Well, thank you
yes,
so
but
much for very much appreciate our relationship and friendship, and we've stayed in close contact even though we're on opposite sides of the world. But
yes,
appreciate you sharing what you've learned in your journey in navigating and discovering through your life so far. I think you've had a lot of experiences, and I think the audience here has a lot to learn from experiencing living in different parts of the world.
yeah. Well, it's always a pleasure, conversing with you. Never a dull moment. Many stories to tell, and sure many more will be coming up. But it's just always good to be a part of something good, something that makes you feel good, and this is one of those things that makes you feel good, and doesn't get much better than that. Life is very simple, harmonious, and at peace when you're part of something.
Hmm. All right. Well, thank you so much, Kenyatta.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Wow. Well, I really hope you enjoyed this podcast with one of my good friends, Kenyatta Thomas. I had the chance to work with him in Antigua and Barbuda during the time that I lived there. And if you didn't catch that quote that Kenyatta was talking about that he mentioned on his wall, the quote was, "As you enter the working world, see yourself as a brand and market yourself as such. Make others believe in you as much as you believe in yourself." So I hope this podcast provided you a lot of encouragement wherever you're at in your journey of life. And if you want to learn more about my story that I share in my new book, or first ever book, Navigation and Discovery, you can get your copy today at CameronSinghBook.com. Again, it's Cameron Singh, Singh, book.com. Thank you so much for listening, taking the time out of your day listening to the podcast. And feel free to catch our previous episodes and previous awesome guests that we've had on this podcast. And thank you again.